Today is Saturday, March 28th, 2015, and this is the Bunny Slippers of Evil Job Seekers Call-In Show, presented by Evil Bunny Consulting. I'm your host, Tyrone Griffin, and if it's 3 p.m. and you have on your bunny slippers, you are not looking for a job. Welcome first-time and returning listeners. In this show, we discuss strategies and tactics of job search, staying motivated, and dealing with career transition. For more tips, resources, daily motivation, and to listen to archive shows, go to the website, bunnyslippersofevil.com. There you'll also find links to our Facebook page and our Twitter handle. If you are listening live, you can call in with your questions at 347-202-0929. Again, that number is 347-202-0929. Now a word from our sponsors. Evil Bunny Consulting is the alternative to expensive outplacement. They give company-sponsored job seeker workshops as well as a one-on-one job seeker boot camp with a money-back guarantee. For more information, go to www.bunnyslippersofevil.com. Resume Edit is the low-cost, high-quality resume writing company with resumes as low as $35 written by certified resume writers. You can find them online at www.resume4edit.com or call 404-860-2473. And be sure to tell them you heard about them on the Bunny Slippers of Evil Job Seekers podcast. Let 3dresumes.net turn your resume into a web page with a customized domain for 12 months for only $30. Help hiring managers and recruiters find you. Make your resume available 24/7. Get a professional, personalized email address just for your job search. You can see my online resume at www.tyronegriffin.com. And for more information on how to get your own, go to 3dresumes.net. And we have a new sponsor this week. If you are thinking about or about to look for a job in today's world, you will find a new reality in the job search process. The world has changed. Job search today is much more complicated than 5 years ago. Volumes of resumes, more applicants, screening systems, depersonalized application, panel interviews, team hiring, long complicated applications, branding, and social media. Yes, the world has changed. But have you? Are you still trying yesterday's approach? Why struggle and miss out on today's opportunities? Career Oyster is here to help you. Great coaches, the latest resources, unique strategies personally tailored to your job search. Find out the new reality of how you can prevent costly mistakes. To register for a free 45-minute session, go to careeroyster.com and register for a complimentary private session with our head coach, Howard Caddy. Find out the facts now. You will be glad you did. Remember our motto, the world is your oyster. Be a pearl. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another show. Thank you for tuning in this week. I hope you had a good and productive week. We're in the middle of a cold snap down here in the southeast. And just a reminder for all of you listening to this on the audio, you can see the video of this as well. You can see my mug early in the morning on a Saturday morning. But we're doing the show. I'm doing videos of all the show. They'll be in the YouTube channel. The link to this episode is in the show notes. So, with that out of the way, one thing you see on the video is you see how much I look at my notes. Because actually I do have notes for all these episodes, some more than others. But today's topic is you are interviewing them too. And I know that's one of those things that, that's common sense. That, oh, yeah, of course I'm interviewing them. But you would be surprised how many people forget that. How many people go into the interview because it's human nature. First, you got to think about what happens. If you're out in transition, if you're looking for a CEO job, maybe you already have enough money from your last job to last you the rest of your life. And you're just looking for that next great opportunity to be great. But you don't have to worry about your bills being paid. You don't have to worry about where you want to eat, your kids going to college, or things like that. So you can be very relaxed and comfortable because it's the idea that, or, even if you're just close to retirement, the idea that, you don't need a job, you just want a job. So it's easy to have the mindset, when you're at that level, we're at that C level, where you're the CEO, CFO, VP, where you've already attained and you've got everything. But what about the other 99% of us who, without a job, there's a point where we are really and truly going to run out of money. We may not be able to support the lifestyle to which we've become accustomed. It's harder for us to remember that interview is two ways. They're interviewing you, but also you're interviewing them. And sometimes you may get a bad deal. See, I always say, for me at least, going down a religious rat hole for a hot second, I never asked God for a job, because you could end up with a job that you really don't like. The old saying, be careful what you wish for, because you may get it. Many of us have been in situations where we've had a job that we truly didn't like, or we had management that we worked for, that we supported, that we truly didn't like, or we had stakeholders that we just didn't like. A lot of us have been in that situation. So when you ask God, Lord, bring me a job. Well, he may bring you a job flipping burgers. Now, there's nothing wrong with that job, but I know a lot of people that would look at that, that's not a job. Yes, it is. You asked for a job. You didn't ask for a job to work your skills. You asked for a job. The Lord brought you a job, so be careful what you wish for. Okay, that's enough of the religion. Excuse me for the moment. So let's talk about this topic of remember, you're interviewing them. The first thing you got to do, if you want to get into the mindset, and it's kind of hard and understandable. It's kind of hard to get into that mindset when you're out there looking for a job, and again, you have this situation where you have to eat, you have to pay the bills, and so on. Just remember this. First thing, you change your mindset. You remember, you're making a contract, and a contract has two parties. One of the things that I somewhat admire with professional athletes is they usually go into the contract negotiation with with power. See, if you've ever done any study on the negotiations, and I remember when in graduate school we had a class on negotiations, and it's that whole idea of who's giving up power first. You got two people on opposite sides of the table, but who has actually got the power, and how do you keep the power, and the whole thing of whoever goes first, whoever puts their cards on the table first loses power, and either side doesn't want the other person to know where they're coming from and things like that. You got to remember that, in job search, in any contract. Here's the thing about contracts, and I'll talk about sports again because just so much doggone money. But when I think about contracts athletes make with their teams, they're making a bet. Both sides are actually making a bet. The team is betting that if they give this athlete, X number of dollars, that he or she will prove to be even more valuable than that. So the team is saying, okay, we're going to pay this person $3 million this year. We're expecting by the end of the year for this person's performance to have been worth maybe $4 million or $5 million. That's what the team is betting. So they're saying, okay, we're going to it's a bargain for us to give this guy $3 million because we're going to get our money back in spades. Whereas the athlete is kind of having a different bet. They're trying to get the highest price possible. And then, you get into all the guaranteed contracts and all that stuff. But, again, the two sides have different objectives. The team is trying to pay as little as possible to get better value for their money. The athlete is trying to make as much as possible. Okay, so two sides of the contract, two different perspectives. So same thing when you're interviewing. Remember, as I keep saying, you are interviewing them just as much as they are interviewing you. You're making a contract. each side is going to sign a contract. So the question, from your side, what does both sides want? Let's think about that. The employer wants somebody who's going to show up every day. They want somebody who will add value to the company greater than the value that they're paying that person. So, if they hire a CEO and they say we're going to pay this person $3 million a year, they're expecting the value of the organization to increase by more than $3 million for bringing this person on board. That's what the company wants. They want somebody who's going to show up every day that's going to present a good, that's going to represent the company well. They want somebody who is going to, same thing with athletes, with pro sports teams. When they're paying this athlete $3 million, this is a big debate I got into this year with Marshawn Lynch. And it's kind of a rat hole, but we're going to talk about contracts for a minute here. One of the big debates I got into with a lot of my friends online was about Marshawn Lynch, who decided that he didn't want to talk at media day and things like that. He didn't want to participate. So they fined him. So then he started showing up, and then he would answer his questions the same way. He would say, I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm just here so I don't get fined. And personally, I think the reporter should have turned around and said, okay, if you're going to answer every question the same way, we're only going to ask you one question over and over. And they all should have just asked him, why are you here? Thank you. And then the next one, why are you here? And just keep doing that and, get stupid with him. But I got into a debate about that contract, about what he was being paid for. And people say, well, he was being paid to run up and down the field and play football. And I said, I disagreed. He was being paid for not just that. He was being paid for the intangibles. He was being paid to market the league. There are athletes that have amazing numbers, but you don't hear of them. The ones that trash talk you hear about. You think that what's his name? Kid from Stanford, other guy on the Seahawks. Big mouth with the braids. Well, anyway, you think he would have a Campbell soup commercial if he didn't call Crabtree a mediocre last year? No, he got that. I'm not saying his stats aren't good, but he got that because he talked trash. Well, when the league signs that contract with people, it's not just for what you do on the field. It's for representing the league. It's for when they sell a Marshawn Lynch jersey, it's because people make a connection with Marshawn Lynch. Okay? That's how the league markets itself. They make that connection. The fans make that connection. They feel closer to Marshawn Lynch and therefore closer to the league in total. So that's what that's part of what the contract is. So that's part of it. Sorry, my video thing here. I had to do something with it. So anyway, getting back to the job search, you're making a contract with your employer. And what do they want? Again, they want somebody who's going to show up. They want somebody who's going to increase value. They expect you to come up, give a full day's work for a full day's pay, or at minimum a full day's work. If you want to give more, you can give more. But they expect a minimum. They also expect you in your private life. And this may be controversial to some people. They expect you to be a person of good standing in the community. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that you have to be a community leader, but they expect you to be an upright citizen. They don't expect you to go out and get arrested. They don't expect you to go, get on TV and embarrass the company while wearing company swag. If you work for, one of my favorite companies, you work for Apple. If you are one of the geniuses at the Genius Bar, they don't expect you to go out and rob the Chick-fil-A down the mall wearing your Apple gear. That there are certain unspoken things. So those are all kinds of things in the contract. So those are the kinds of things that. So remember, again, it is a contract that you're making. It's a two-sided agreement. So the company wants these things from you. what do you want? Well, you might feel yourself to be, at that point where you're desperate and you just need a job. You say, well, hey, I want a company that makes payroll. That's my criteria. Do they make payroll every week? Because nobody wants to get into a company and 2 weeks after you start, they go bankrupt and you didn't get paid for your last 2 weeks. So you want a company that's going to make payroll. You want the benefits. You want to maybe you want to cover your family for health and dental and life and AD&D and long-term disability and things like that. You want a company that's got longevity. You want a company that's going to be around, and because they've been around doesn't mean they will be around. So you got to look at things like that. But that's what you want. Unless you are a chronic job hopper, you're looking for a company that has some stability. A company that's not going to suddenly have to lay off everybody because they went broke. A company that shows some sustainability. If their stock price is all over the place, goes from $1 to $4 to $1 to $28 to $1 within like 2 or 3 months, it's like, wait a minute, this company's not stable. So you want stability. You want opportunity. You want to be able to look at that company and say, if I come to this company, and opportunity is that's a word that, there's no way to, everybody's definition of opportunity within a position is different. Some people want to grow and move up the corporate ladder. Some people, that's just what they want to do. Some people don't want to do that. Some people say, you know what, I want to come here. I'm only going to be here 5 or 6 years. I just want to work this job. Nothing wrong with that either. But if you do want opportunity, if you're seeking opportunity, you want to make sure that you get into a situation, an organization where there is some opportunity, where there is somewhere to go. There's somewhere that you can move into. I'm by no means finished with my working career, so I would love any a situation, any opportunity that I'm looking at. That's one of the things I want to look at and see. Okay, the person above me or the organization above me, how long have they been in place? Are there going to be opportunities that could develop? And see, that's the one thing. Kind of a bit of a rat hole. You ever get that question on an interview of where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I was asked that question recently on an interview, and my response, I'm trying to remember, because after I said it, I said, that's pretty cool. But it was basically, I can't say where I'm going to be in 5 years. I would love to be working for this organization, but I would love to be in a situation where I can take advantage of, say, opportunities that arise in the next 3 or 4 years. Maybe there are jobs that haven't been invented yet. Positions that and responsibilities that nobody has foreseen, that, if they come, those opportunities, those positions present themselves, and I have a good background, I have a good understanding of the company, I have the respect of my peers, that I could possibly. We spend a lot of our time trying not to get blamed for things. And that's not a good thing when you're doing that. When you're spending a lot of time not instead of doing your job, you're trying not to make sure that the fingers get pointed at you. For those on the video, I do apologize. We had a little mishap there where the video stopped, so your video quality probably just changed tremendously. But I apologize. That's all I can say. But we'll keep whatever video is up. It won't be the whole show. I think I missed about a minute or two. But the rest of the show will be up there on video. So anyway, so those are the things that you want as a job seeker. And so when you're interviewing them, those are the things that you want to make sure that they address, that they look for, that you look for in a job. Look for those things that will help you to grow. See, the thing is, nobody wants to walk into a situation where it's a dead-end situation. You don't want to walk into that. You want to walk into an opportunity. That's a good opportunity. So you have to be critical about these things, even if, yeah, maybe you are um, bills are racking up, or starting to stack up, and maybe you are you know bill collectors are calling you and things like that. Well, let me back up. Let me caveat that, because I know how crazy that just sounded. Uh, First of all, everybody has to make decisions for themselves. What's important to them? Everybody has to do that. Whatever your priorities are for you and your family, that's what's important. So if you find yourself in a situation where you may have to take a job because, again, it was what was offered, then you do that. So don't, but understand that long term, if the things aren't there that you need, then you need to keep looking. And I'm sorry, to kind of take money out of your employer's hands after they've hired you and tell you to keep looking for your next job while you're working for them. But the reality is, if you're not happy, if you walk into a situation where it's just for money, chances are you're not happy, you're not going to be happy. And at some point, very soon, you are going to walk away. And if you don't walk away, you are going to stay there and be very upset about being there. So, you need to make sure that it is something that's good for you. And again, the original premise of this show, the original topic, you're interviewing them too. So yes, you need to interview them. So if you're one of those panel interviews, or you're interviewing with multiple people, the first interview is the screening interview, and then they say, we want you to come in, and they're looking for good fit. They're looking for skills. They make sure that you have the skills. Sometimes on an interview, they will give you tests. I've been there where they give you what they call assessment tests to make sure you got the skills that you profess to have, and see what level your skills are. Companies do that. But you ought to interview these people as well, particularly with the person who may be your direct superior, your boss, and their boss. If you don't get along with them in the interview, chances are you are not going to get along with them in the job. And that is not pretty. I once had a job where I didn't get along. I won't say I didn't get along. No, I didn't get along. But it wasn't just not getting along. There was, and I can't speak for him, but I didn't respect a lot of his decisions. And I know that really sounds bad, but the reason for that a lot of times was, in my opinion, he used to suck up. He used to, kiss brown nose or whatever, but he wanted to use my nose to do the browning. Yeah, I know. That's a real good visual, I know. But there were many times when we would go into his office, we would shut the door, and we would have an argument. And a half hour, 20 minutes later, I'd come out and go about my business like nothing happened. But that was a situation where he was hired into the position after I started. So, the boss that I interviewed with was gone, and then he came in. So it wasn't as cut and dry as that. So anyway, I apologize. I've rambled for the last 26 minutes. I hope you got something out of this. I hope the topic, I hope you just remember, if nothing else, remember, the point of this week was that you are interviewing them too. That you do not go into an interview, excuse the visual, but you don't go into an interview like you're a slave on the auction block. You go into an interview, it's a contract between two parties. You're one of those parties. If you are not happy, you understand better your outside considerations. But if you're not happy with the contract as it's written, or you're not happy with the environment, you're not happy with the benefits, you're not happy with the money, you have the right to if it's depending on how bad it is, you have the right to say, hey, you know what, I'm just not, I don't want this. I'm not happy with this. This is not something that I want to pursue at this time. And yeah, there are people who actually do turn down job offers after the interview, possibly because of the money, possibly because of, again, when they sat in the interview, the people they saw and what they were told and the attitudes of the people made them say, you know what, this is not going to be a good fit for me. Nothing wrong with that, people. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And you should always remember that you always have the ability to walk away. So keep that, stay focused on everything you need to do. I always get amazed that I can actually talk for a half hour. Thanks for listening. If you are listening on the website, feel free to subscribe to the podcast in iTunes. And if you like the show, please leave feedback there, and that'll help other people find this show. And I truly appreciate it. If you have a free job seeker networking event coming up and you would like me to announce it, send it to me at Tyrone@bunnyslippersofevil.com. Please be aware that I may have to edit any requests for length or content. Length or content. But when you do land, please don't forget us. Please support this show by visiting our cafe press store and buying a t-shirt, a water bottle, a coffee mug, a clock, or a sweatshirt, so you will have a memento of your time in transition. Because I don't want you to forget this time. Because the moment you forget this, the moment you put on your career bunny slippers and you set yourself up to be out in transition again. And I don't want that for you people. But anyway, bottom line is this. We got 60 seconds left, and if I rambled and went down some rat holes, I truly am sorry. I tend to do that. For those people who watch this show often, they'll tell you, yeah, he does get off on tangents sometimes. But just remember, you have some power. Forget all that about it's a buyer's market. It's a company. It's the company's market. They may have 50 people lined up, or they may have 500 people lined up behind you to interview that will happily take this job. If you take it just for that reason, because you're afraid somebody else will get it, then you are setting yourself up for a bad situation. And I don't want that. Many of us have been in bad situations. You don't want that for anybody. So, with that, as always, people, thank you so much for your patience, for your time. I wish you all the luck this week in your job search. Stay focused, and we will talk again soon.